pray together. Father God, as we come to you tonight, Lord, we know there are things that need to be discussed and talked about, Lord. There may be people that need to be recognized. And God, through it all, we give you the praise and the honor and the glory for everything. We thank you for being our God and for being such a good God for us. And God, as you look over this meeting in particular tonight, we just pray that you bless everyone here. Pray that you'll bless these folks that work on the board, and pray that you'll bless Dr. Downs as she serves in this capacity to help run our schools. God, we know that we need to look to you for all of the guidance for every decision made, and for those that need to be discussed and made tonight, pray that you'll give them your wisdom to make those decisions the best way that they can. God, we also just want to pray for everyone as they make the decisions for the whole year and every day. Lord, not just the ones about tonight, as they make financial decisions and educational decisions. And Lord, in a year that has been so very weird to so many, Lord, they're making health decisions for us now and making decisions that maybe they never thought that they would need to make. And so, God, we just pray for their wisdom and for the decision making every day. God, I pray for everyone here, Lord, as they will go to their home places tonight. Pray for their safety, for their arrival, and Lord, for the Christmas season. We thank you for sending your Son Jesus to die for us and for every one of us here. And pray that we'll all come to know you at some point in our lives. And it's through His name I pray.
Amen. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
If you'll stand and join me in the pledge of the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the first item on our agenda is presentations and recognitions, and so Assistant Superintendent Kim Cagle is going to come up to present the recognitions.
Okay, as you know, during our Veterans Day celebration, we have students that are recognized for their posters if they are in elementary school, and then essays for middle and high. So we did have several winners that are from Gilmer County Schools. And I'll ask that Ms. Stephanie Burnett come up, and I don't think hers are here tonight, but I want her to recognize her winners.
We had 3 winners this year for Clear Creek Elementary School, and we were very excited about that because that's typically not something that we have participated in the past. We haven't had those grades for several years. So this year's winner, we had Maylee Bramlett. She represented 3rd grade. We had Sally Domingo, and we also had Elena Cox. So those were our 3 winners this year. And Ms. Hagel, I think they received a $50 gift card to Walmart, and that was actually presented to them at the Veterans Day celebration. So they have already received their prize. So thank you so much. Okay, thank you.
And if Nicole Pike will come up from Clear Creek Middle School, she had 2 winners.
My 2 could not be with us as well, but we had Deacon Shull in 8th grade and Gracie Cantana-Blue in 7th grade.
No from essays. And Carla Foley from Gilmer High School, she had several winners. Which these are all essays.
All
winners. And they also received $50 certificates. So we have Emily Chatsworth, and Jackson Brady, and Rosa Block, and Carlos Hernandez Jimenez. Thank you guys. I'll be right back. And our next, I don't know that there's anything more we could say about Octavia Fishy. That she's achieved something that few people, you high schoolers do, and we want to recognize her. Come on up, Octavia. We're so very proud of you.
So tonight tonight we are recognizing Octavia as the FFA National Champion for the dairy production and entrepreneurship at State.
Congratulations. And our last recognition for the night, these girls are here. And if athletic director from Gilmer High School, Matt Johnson, will come up. We have some all-state softball
Yes,
for you to recognize.
very proud to recognize Jasmine Staley and Macy Hamby. They both earned second team All-State accolades this year. This is a great testament to Coach Mullis, who fought hard for these athletes through the JACA. And very proud of you both.
Right here. And that's all the recognitions for 2020. We had some recognitions.
I'm just glad we can have recognition.
I am too. I'm so very glad we can have recognitions again. So congratulations, girls.
I'll give them a second. The next item on our agenda are the consent items. So, Mr. Chairman, the consent agenda items are listed for the board's consideration at our regular monthly meeting on Thursday. Subject to the wishes of the board, items can be added or removed to the consent agenda in preparation for that meeting. And on the consent agenda are the minutes from the November 16th work and executive session and the November 19th regular session. We do have some out-of-state or overnight field trips and a fundraising request. You want to take a look at those? The field trip's not out-of-state, it's actually in-state, but it is overnight, but it's parent-provided transportation. We're not sending a bus. So.
Yes, it's FFA, I think.
Georgia Fairgrounds. So as you know, the superintendent's report is organized by our strategic plan. The most important part of our strategic plan is academic achievement, which is our first area. And the only item we have under that tonight is the parent-student handbook. And normally we ask the board to adopt the parent-student handbook along with the code of conduct and some other documents over the summer in preparation for the school year to start. This year has been a different year in many ways. And as we have moved into this year, we realized that we needed some minor changes, excuse me, in relation to our virtual students. We're unable to offer our CTAE courses virtually, and there was a graduation requirement for CTAE courses. So we're asking the board to consider changing the handbook to allow a world language to be substituted for the CTAE requirement and add some options to the elective credit that students can accomplish online. You have a copy of the requested changes in your folder. Everything that we would request be changed is in yellow. There are many more pages to the handbook. We did not go to the expense and trouble of printing anything other than those where the changes are needed.
Is this one more than we previously had, 23?
No, it's still within, it is the same number of credits. It's just, you can't do CTAE online. We purchased a program called Edgenuity, and it offers the basic courses and then electives, but not CTAE. And it really is not going to apply to that many students. It's just going to be those that are nearing graduation that couldn't get the credit they need to graduate. So Ms. Foley and her team figured out that we needed to change. So
So this will become effective immediately.
After Thursday night, once you guys vote on it, it would become effective immediately so that we could schedule students for second semester appropriately. So it's very needed. All right, and the next section of our strategic plan is parent community engagement. And I've asked Ms. Katrina Kingsley, who is our pre-K director and PBIS coordinator, to share with you about our Little Free Libraries.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to giving you an update on our Little Free Libraries. To remind you, a Little Free Library is a nonprofit that builds community, inspires readers, and expands book access for all through a global network of volunteer-led little libraries. There are over 100,000 libraries in over 100 countries around the world. So now we have LJ on the map for our Little Free Libraries, and we're very proud about that. Our L4GA Literacy Committee, under the direction of Ms. Lottie Mitchell, met and discussed the idea of installing Little Free Libraries around town in order to build a love for reading. Research has shown that the more books that are in or near the home, the more likely a child will learn to read and love to read. Research also shows that 2 out of 3 children living in poverty have no books to call their own. Little Free Library book sharing boxes play an essential role in filling this need by providing 24/7 access to books and encouraging a love for reading. Since this was a community effort, the Birth to 5 committee took on the project and decided to move forward with it in the fall of 2019. So the first part, next slide please, was to get with Gilmer High School, and we were really excited to partner with them with Dennis Wilson's construction class. And here you can see the group of kids that actually constructed these Little Free Libraries. They followed a set of plans that was shared by the Little Free Library organization, and the funds for the materials were provided through the L4GA grant. The next slide will show you that the schools decorated Little Free Libraries. The school GHS built 8 of them for us, and each school got at least one.
Is that at Clear Creek Elementary?
That's
cute.
It is. So each school got one to decorate, and each school is responsible for supplying the books and supervising those Little Free Libraries where they have decided to locate them. The process was originally planned for these Little Free Libraries to be completed before the summer, but as you know, the pandemic slowed us down, and we were able to complete them in August. Next, in the next slide, you will see the maintenance helped us install these. So each school chose a location around town that they felt would be frequented mostly by children in our community. And then our maintenance department graciously installed 6 of the 8 Little Free Libraries this past fall, just a couple months ago. And in the next slide, you will see the locations where you can find these Little Free Libraries. Clear Creek Elementary School put theirs next to their gym since it's frequently used by Park and Rec. LJ Elementary School put theirs at their entrance, and this is due to the amount of traffic that comes through at the Apple Festival, so it was a good location for them. Right, when we go to the Clear Creek Middle School put theirs at the ball fields, which is used by Park and Rec. And then Mountain View put theirs behind the school on the GHS softball field. And so you can see they chose locations where a lot of kids would be frequenting. In the next slide, you will see the locations that the high school chose. They chose the River Park and put 3. They actually decorated 3 for us and put them at each playground. So we were very excited about that. The Future Educators Club from Gilmer High School was chosen to be responsible for making sure the libraries are well stocked. And they've been doing a beautiful job of that. The books are provided by the L4GA grant and by our libraries that have disposition books. And at the time we were just giving these books away. It is actually a book swap, but due to the events that are going on, we're just making sure that they're all going free. So those disposition books have come in handy. Our Little Free Libraries all have an official sign on them and are registered with the organization's national database. So what we ask, and one more thing, there's one that EES is doing for us. They agreed to do a second little free library for us, and they have got it partially ready. So pretty soon you're going to see one at Harrison Park as well. So we're really excited and appreciate them doing that for us. So we invite you to stop by one of our little free library sites and check them out. And please encourage parents to visit them and to get some books for their children. Thank you very much.
Very neat project. Okay, the next area is the strategic plan. It's high-performing culture and workforce. And under that, we only have personnel tonight, which will be discussed in executive session and presented on Thursday night for approval. So the next area is operational effectiveness. And we have a Clear Creek Elementary School update from our architect. And so this time, we're moving right on through the phases, and so the video focuses some on the interior of the building, there's the construction entrances off the time. Did they close it off? The county did not want us to have one off of Yukon. They wanted it to be off. I had been going up that way. Yeah.
Well, I think the original plan was to have an entrance off of there and one off of Clear Creek Road.
It was. That was the original. That was the original plan. I will look into it and see if like they've temporarily closed that one or, because I used it pretty
There's no
recently.
paving or anything going
No,
on.
it ain't gonna be, they said that ain't gonna be that road, that road is on top of the hill fire. It's pretty close, I think it's still going to be a little tricky to get out sometimes, that's the only way to get in and out.
I will look into it and make sure, but
I asked them, find it, just ain't going to the, off the, Yukon there, they said that was, it was on the plan.
let me look into
So
it
all
and see,
buses-
because it was on the original
All
plan.
the buses, repair traffic will come the same route.
let me look into it. I'm not gonna answer that in open session when I don't know for sure. Because my understanding was that we would still have the Yukon Road entrance. So let me look into it. Ronald's driven the truck in there more recently, so.
They done got the curve, they done got the curve pulled around through there. They done got the curve, they wait to out there.
Yeah, let me check into it and make sure.
That's what I'm saying, everything like coming at one end.
One community question that has come up is about pre-K. We've had some people question, why there were no pre-K classrooms built into that school. The state funds pre-K very differently. It's strictly lottery funded, to save tax dollars here, or, this is obviously funded with East Loss. But we're eligible for reimbursement from the state for what they call instructional units. But those instructional units have to be kindergarten to 5th grade. They can't be pre-K, or we don't get the reimbursement from it. So we're building an adequate number of classrooms, but they are designated kindergarten to 5th grade. Once we're moved into that school, if plans change, we might at a later point dedicate a classroom or 2 or 3 to pre-K. But right now, while we're building it and we're setting to move in, it will be a K-5 school initially. And it's to make sure that we maximize the amount of reimbursement dollars that we get back from the state. So the pre-K at this point, our plan is that it will be in the annex behind Clear Creek Elementary School in one location for next year. The next item on the agenda is board meeting dates. We made a couple more slight edits to those based on what we think might be coming up in the next year. The board can let me know this week if you want it on the agenda to vote on Thursday. It helps some people to plan and have the dates ahead of time. Or we can wait until January when our 2 new board members come on to vote for those. So let me know the wishes and that's fine. I wanted to get them out there and give everybody time to look at them and make sure that everything looks good. Okay, the next item is student code of conduct, and like our parent-student handbook, we noticed some changes that needed to be made to the student code of conduct. We have recently, as you know, purchased enough devices that our students have a device, a Chromebook, from 1st to 12th grade that they use at school and take home. We realize that there are many dangers out, on the internet, and we wanted to find a way to help protect our students and what they're typing, what they're reading, etc. We found a program called Gaggle that screens what the students type on those devices. We have caught multiple issues already with it, but it also brought to light some changes we needed to make in the code of conduct.
They're specialized.
Yeah, and it also picks up words in Spanish as well. But I think our students didn't think it would pick up. You'll have to tell me. We did not purchase to screen staff devices, only the student devices because of the cost. But that's where that need to that student code of conduct comes from. Got called and stuff that should be. But the changes needed there are highlighted for you. There was also, just aside from that we had pagers in there. We felt like we have moved on in our technology, that pagers probably were no longer applicable. So we decided, while you were looking at it, strike that as well. Okay, that brings us to policies for first reading. We have 5 policies tonight for first reading as part of our consistent revision process. They will be posted on the Gilmer Schools website for public review and comment before a second reading at the board work session next month. Subject to the wishes of the board and public deliberations, these will be voted upon at the regular session in January. And that's policy EE, food services management, policy EEE, wellness program, policy GANA, infectious diseases, policy JCDAE, weapons, and policy JGFGB, concussion management. We also have policies tonight for second reading. We actually have 1 policy, 1 exhibit, and 1 rule for the board. These policies have been posted on our district website since our work session last month and submitted to GSBA Legal Counsel for review. No changes have been recommended by the public or by GSBA. That's policy BBA, board officers, policy BCBIE1. And that's the public participation in board meetings. That's the actual request form that someone fills out if they wish to participate at a regular monthly session. And then policy BCBIR1, which I quote every board meeting, for its public participation in board meetings, those rules. All right, next on the agenda is the last area of our strategic plan is fiscal accountability. The first item is Clear Creek Elementary School kitchen equipment. In your package, you can see a list of quotes for kitchen equipment for the new Clear Creek Elementary School. Much of the equipment is included by the contractor in our guaranteed maximum price. However, there are some pieces that we have elected to purchase ourselves. Outside of that, we save on the taxes and basically the commission that the contractor makes. The reason we're putting this on the agenda tonight is prices are expected to go up pretty significantly in January. As everyone knows, with the supply chain issues related to COVID, prices are going up on all building materials, but also on kitchen equipment as well. And so we have figured out a way to go ahead and purchase those now and store them. We don't want to put them in the kitchen until the kitchen is completely finished, but we want to purchase them at today's prices. And so that's why it's urgent that we get it approved on Thursday so that Ms. Waters can go ahead and make that purchase and have it ready for the new school at the lower 2020 prices.
The vendors are gonna store it.
The vendors are going to store it. We had talked back and forth about that quite a bit.
We don't have space to store it, and we don't wanna, take it and then possibly get damaged if it's moved. So
Yeah.
they have agreed to hold these bid prices if we purchase them before the end of the year. We won't pay until they're actually here. We're just committing. So these are actual bid prices that the GEC, which we participate, it's a purchasing co-op. And so these prices should be about 20% less than what we would have to pay if I put them out for bid in March for delivery in May. So these are scheduled for delivery in May.
And our architect warned us not to put them in a day before they're ready because of subcontractors putting pieces of equipment down on them and dinging and bending and whatnot, so.
Are any of these available for reimbursement monies from some other sources like,
No. We are moving some of the existing equipment out there though, from Clear Creek Elementary, some of it. The majority of it, it's such an old school, it needs to be purchased new.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is purchasing policy, expenditures, and approvals, and that list is significantly shorter than it normally is. The control concepts purchase for $17,750 is it will be an insurance claim, and we will get that back from insurance. It was storm damage to some of our HVAC controls. That one was EES. And then the next one, as Ms. Patterson explained last month, private schools are eligible to request a portion of our CARES Act funds, and North Georgia Christian Academy elected to participate and take some of those funds, and that came out to $27,000. And so we're just reporting that tonight. It wasn't that we had any choice in that, in that matter. All right, so next we have nutrition, and we have our Director of School Nutrition, Ms. Linda Mars.
Good evening. I hope you're pleased with the October 2020 report. I told you it'd be good. Our revenues over expenditures were $92,000. Okay, I have my old specs on here. $456.59. November will also be a good month because we've already gotten our reimbursement for it, and it was almost $200,000. So as long as we stay in school, I think we're going to be just fine in school nutrition, because we're not feeding all the kids, but we're feeding a lot of them. And at the higher free reimbursement rate, that really does help us a lot. And we have been taking advantage of all donated foods that are up for grabs, because the co-op is taking foods. If
But
a
she says
system
donated,
has
we're
it-
not talking about food pantry, we're talking about.
the 9th District Co-op, where
Right.
our USDA foods get stored and they're delivered from. They're not letting food sit over there for more than 90 days. If it does, the state's taking it away, and they put it up for grabs, and it's like first come, first serve. So another system shared some strawberry cups with us and berry cups. And I'm like, bring it on. They're, cost $3.15 a case to have it delivered. So we're trying as hard as we can to keep our meal prices in check and to be good stewards of our program funds.
And even better, the meals are good.
Yeah, the meals are good, yes. Our staff does an amazing job. And for the first time in a long time, we are fully staffed, so at all of our schools. Any questions?
Thank you. Okay. Next we have our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Trina Penland, to give our budget update.
Hello. You have your financial summary for October, and that's 4 months, or 33.33% of the year complete. Our total revenues for this period is $10,012,593, or 25.67%. Our total tax revenues are $3,265,759, or 17.56%. Our total expenditures for the year-to-date period is $13,189,000, and that's at 31.73%. Our expenditures over revenues for this period is $3,177,000, and that leaves us with a fund balance at the end of October of $14,199,816. Last month, we were $13,032,000. So October, we did collect a few of the property taxes some people pay early. So September is usually our lowest month until we start, collecting all the money and start going back downhill in about February. Our 2015 East Lost. Did you say something?
Yeah, so I'll pay what it is.
And I said I'll pay early because I'm OCD, I can't stand no money.
Well, we like all of those. We like the early pay.
I balance out wrong.
I get a letter from the mortgage.
We like to keep receiving the money also. Our 2015 East Lost expenditures, we have spent $17,706,000. And for the current month, we spent $59,603 in technology projects. Our 2020 East Lost funds, we have spent $6,524,227. And for the month, we spent $1,481,000 Clear Creek Elementary. I think you can see very well in the updates where that's went. Our 2015 East Loss collections ended last month, I told you that, so we have collected our first month of our 2020 East Loss collection, and this was for the month of October. And we collected, Gilmer County, $688,947. And that is $162,912, or 30.97% more than the previous month.
Is that record?
That is a record that since I've been tracking, other than when we got the audit true up. But yes, as far as collections, this is,
The highest has been in the past, right at 500,000.
I'll have to get my staples to read this. But yeah, it was, and these were back in, the 2008, 2009, we're having to go all the way back to that, which also at that time included the sales tax on the cars and the 1%, because we were still collecting that rather than title ad valorem at the time. So it is definitely a record.
Walmart, Lowe's, and grocery
Yes.
Well, let all these people coming up, buy our new school.
Well, when the lady from the Department of Revenue, she called to make sure, because this was the first month in the collection, we have a new bank account, so she called just to make sure that our funds were deposited. I asked her to please double check that that was the correct funds that went into our account, because that was a lot more, but, so, that was nice. So, that's all. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay. I think a question on everyone's mind tonight from my announcements and comments are our COVID numbers. We're definitely seeing a spike. We're gonna make it till Friday, to Christmas break. We may limp across the Christmas finish line for the first semester. But we have 23 students out today with a confirmed positive test. That's the most we've had since this has started. We have 331 students quarantined. We have 16 staff exposed that are not symptomatic, and they're working with 95, there's 16 of those. We have 5 quarantining, either with symptoms or without, and we have 7 confirmed positives within our staff, and we're expecting some more test results tomorrow that will most likely, we'll have more teachers or more staff members that are positive in quarantine. So these are our numbers. I hate that we're seeing a spike, but I do think that we can make it till Friday. I think Ms. Foley put in a newsletter earlier today to the staff that, we have many students that don't want to leave school for 2 weeks at all. School is safe, it's the routine, it's warm, and it's a place that our students get food and positive attention. And so if we can keep it going, we're keeping it going.
Do we have a game plan in place while we're on Christmas break to deep clean all schools?
Don't even get me started.
You'll go run this.
I'm be happy.
There's always, ABM always has a plan.
Well, just ask Chattanooga about their plans.
Yeah, so anyway. Staff comes back on January 4th, which is a Monday, and then students return on January 5th. We have an in-service day. We're going to do our planned speaker she's going to do it electronically. And then we've got some professional learning for staff. We've got a few things that we're going to have to do with Safe Schools, a couple of modules. No, we're not. Ronald Likens, don't do it. Okay, Mr. Palmer had asked to say a few words.
Okay. First of all, I want to say how proud and honored I am to have served in Gilmer County. I've been here 21 years, and I've served 10 years as principal of Oakland, so all the students and staff in the community out there. along with 1 year at the high school as well as administrator for 49% of the time. And then also eight years on the board. So it's been an honor. I just want to say thank you for that. And I've seen a lot of progress in those 8 years. Actually, in those 21, there's been a lot of progress. But we went from, I guess, and this is my opinion, whether it's true or not, but we went from a superintendent who led by fear and intimidation. Those of you who are here have been here for that many times. You understand what I'm saying? And again, that's my opinion. And this person didn't really care for the students, didn't care for the staff, didn't care for the community. And he even told them so, that he didn't really care. He wasn't from around here, he didn't really care. We've gone from that to someone who does care, to someone who loves Gilmer County, has students in Gilmer County. This is Dr. Downs I'm talking about now. And again, it's been an honor to serve with her and with the Board of Education. We've had our differences, but we do what's right, and that is make a decision and live with that decision once we, as a group. And anyway, I want to say thank you to the Board of Education and to Dr. Downs and to the staff, the central office staff. I still call it the central office. I've been in this business for 50 years. That's what we call it. I don't care what y'all call it. But anyway, the central office staff, because they actually do a lot more than most people know. They really do. And so I want to say thank you to them. It's been an honor being here and serving. And I want to say something, and don't take this anyway, Michael and Joe. Give you a little advice, and advice, you can take it, leave it, whatever. But this was given to me 8 years ago when I ran. And this guy said, Jim, I want to give you some advice. You can't do what you think you can do. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a board member, I can. It's true. You really can't do what you think you can do. And so, just keep that in mind. So, also, as a board member, you have no authority whatsoever. None until you're sitting right here, and then you're a voice of 1 to 5. Okay? So keep that in mind, and just for your information. Be careful about who you let influence you and who you listen to. Please listen, but make your own decisions. And the decisions should be based on students, staff, and community. That's what it's all about. That's what the Board of Education is all about. I know as far as when you run for the board, hopefully the reason you run for the board is for those students, for that staff, and for the community. One thing I've learned in 29 years as a principal, it took me a while to figure this out. If the staff is happy, and it doesn't take a lot to make staff happy, really. Sometimes it's a kind word, sometimes it's whatever it is, but they know they're happy, the students are happy. If the students are happy, the parents are happy. If the parents are happy, you're happy. So just something that simple, and the same thing with the board. I would encourage you, board members, to study the Code of Ethics. It is very important that you understand what your job is and what you can and cannot do. They are important. And here's the thing, just we mentioned tonight, consistent revision of the policy. You'll get those policies. You don't have to do like I did. And I told the guys here, they got like, well, that's kind of funny. When I was elected, went to Florida that year, I had the big 4-inch book, read every one of those policies. Probably don't remember any of them, but I read them as my wife was whatever. And don't really recommend that, but you'll get an opportunity really over the period of 2 years it takes.
We're at 2 years.
So you'll really see what the board's policies are, and you'll hopefully understand more. I know Mike has already been on the board, so he understands somewhat of that. But first of all, best wishes to both of you, I really do. And to the Board of Education, thank you, Dr. Downs, thank you to the board members, and it's been a privilege to serve Gilmer County. That's my 2 cents. Okay.
Thank you, Jim. Okay. Public participation is the final agenda item at board work sessions. It will be the intent of the board to allow input solely on agenda items from those in attendance. All presentations to the board would be brief and intended for the board to hear comments or concerns without taking action. All other time limits and topic restrictions remain in effect. Is there anyone here for public participation? Okay. All right. I recommend a motion to enter executive session.
Do I have a motion? Motion. All for?
I did not get who made the.
Tom and